So welcome to the home screen. This is the basic dashboard of your time as manager, and it's pretty customizable. So from the home screen you get an idea of when the next match is. Hopefully it tells us it's tomorrow. The current date that the game is in is up here, and the game time only goes forward when I click on this box up in the top right. So as it is, time is paused and I can take as much time as I like analysing the data state of the game and going through all of the information available to me and making decisions ready for the next match. This banner up top is pretty fixed and it shows us our fixture list. Everything here is a link, so if it's kind of coloured and underlines, I can click through to get to the next data set, much like a web browser. All of these panels below though are customizable, so you can see I can drop down lists here. So if I was interested, say, in playing a journeyman manager career, I could keep this as the list of available jobs for managers, and maybe I can also have a look at people who have an insecure job, and I can apply to be the manager of the Morocco under-20s if I feel that's something I want to experience. But the defaults here are relatively good, and I don't feel a particular need to change many of them, apart from I'm hopefully not going to be seeing too much activity in the medical centre. I can drop into the medical sector here in the tabs anyway, but what I'll change this to in the intervening time is probably something to do with club finances. So finance and salary here, and then down here we've got squad status. Perhaps any promises I've made to players or other clubs will be tracked here, so I can just remind myself, but I can change these over time. That's no problem at all. So when you start a game of Football Manager 2022, you get to generate your character, your avatar. And I know a lot of people kind of create an avatar to represent themselves, and indeed if you edit your manager appearance, there are options to scan in your face via a camera or a picture of yourself, and it will try and wrap your face around one of these kind of head models. So you can generate the 3D model from your photo. But you'll notice here that I have modelled a woman manager. This is my interpretation of the incredibly famous and talented Hope Powell, CBE, formerly attacking midfielder with England, former England manager, over 60 caps for her country and 35 goals, and currently the manager of Brighton and Hove Albion women's soccer team. I have history is the wrong word. I have a lot of respect for Hope Powell. We share a lot in common. We both hail from South East London. Hope was born in Lewisham, which is where I used to go shopping with my nan. She's a touch older than my sister, and I feel a sort of kinship, if you like, with Hope. I followed her playing career a bit on telly, and the last time I played Football Manager was 2008, and the 2008 to 2009 season was interesting for Hope Powell. She was being considered for the first female manager of a professional men's football team. I believe it was Grimsby. So in the 2008 Football Manager, I started playing as Hope Powell, taking over Grimsby and leading them to Premier League and European glory from that point on. And it's just sort of stuck as a habit, creating Hope Powell as my manager. And within the profile, like all of the members of staff and the playing staff within a club, you get stats and characteristics. So the game keeps track of your reputation within the engine, the way that you interact with press as manager, and then your on the field tactics, whether you change them a lot, how involved are you in the training and the running of the club, how well you manage your finances, discipline, whether you hire and fire a lot of staff, and how biased you are towards domestic and international players at your team. And then there are attributes. When you pick the game, you can either choose to have a manager that is appropriate for the level of club that you are choosing to play at. So if you choose to play as a Premier League club, you will have the Euro Pro license, and you may well have an existing reputation within world football. As I'm playing as Hope Powell with over 60 international caps, 15 years of managing an international side with England, and of course she set up her own club, Bromley and Croydon, and led them to significant success within women's football. She has a solid reputation in world football, and she was the first woman coach to achieve the highest level of Euro Pro certification. So with all of those facts set into the engine, even though the engine gets a number of caps, a number of goals wrong, because she scored, I think, 35 goals and 66 caps, she gets a lot of points to spend, and you can distribute these points how you like. If you want a slightly easier game, which generally I do, starting with maximum reputation gives you a lot of points, which you can split between your coaching stats, and this will have an impact because the head coach or the manager is also the head coach, and so these stats have a direct influence on the quality of training your players will receive, where you are conducting the training yourself. And your mental stats may well have an impact on motivating, for example, or will have an impact on when you speak to the players at half time and you wish to get them to buck up their ideas or change their attitudes or calm down. This stat will influence how effective those team talks are, but also they can influence how often a player might slack off of training, for example, or come to you with problems that they need resolving. Where you have weaknesses, so you can see here I've given dump stat to goalkeepers because Hope was an attacking midfielder and probably is not as strong in this area as she would be coaching outfield players. I will rely on other characters, hiring other characters as a goalkeeping coach, for example, to coach the goalkeeping players that we have at the club. Player knowledge and youngster knowledge is most important for your scouts, but also many of your youth team and under-18 team coaches and managers will rely on this to be able to give you a star rating of players, so you can make decisions, well-informed decisions about whether to loan them out or play them in the first team or sell them. I've put her adaptability at 1. That is clearly a bit of cheek on my part. It's another dump stat here. This is my chances of, as Hope Powell, finding employment in a foreign league. Hope has always struck me as a very pragmatic but well-travelled individual, and would be more than capable of adapting to playing in foreign countries. But historically, she's always played in teams in and around the southeast of England, with an impressive stint at Millwall and stints at Fulham and Bromley, Croydon, and now on the south coast in Brighton. So that's who I like to play as. I am given a contract at the start of the game with an amount of salary, so you can see how much the manager earns compared to the playing staff. There are various clauses as well, which might be in here. Generally speaking, you can just ignore this. There's no real benefit in chasing higher wages unless you want to play that way. Through the game, you'll often have to make promises to members of staff. So if a junior player wants to play in the first team and you've not been allowing him that offer or affording him that privilege, you can make promises that you will, which will keep him quiet for a while. But if you fail to deliver on those promises, then they may get unhappy, and that can have knock-on effects. The game tracks relationships you have with other characters within the game engine, so you can build up relationships with other managers, members of the press, as well as playing staff and non-playing staff. There's then a tracking history, so if you want to play this in career mode, which this is set into, which is one of only 5 modes of play that you can use, then it keeps track of all of your milestones and your job history, which can be fun to look back on after you've sunk hundreds of hours into a particular game. There is a notebook function as well, so while it's sometimes useful to have pen and paper with you while you're playing the game, there is a system internally for creating notes, and those notes can also have a date or reminder connected to it, so you can set up reminders to look at particular players that you're scouting, or recurring reminders to you can set up a kind of a workflow reminder system to send yourself an email perhaps every 3 months to go through the loan market, or to review player contracts, which is all very useful. So that's the home screen and what it does for you. There's not a lot of actual... it's a navigation hub, if you like, so you can always drill down into different areas in here and come back to the hub again. It keeps tweaking these. It's probably something I've set automatically override custom panels. No, we'll turn that off, and then we'll set that one to what's in here, finance and salary. Okay, so if I now go to finance and salary and come back, if I go to training and come back, will that save it? Yeah, it does. Okay. So the customizer, you have to literally change that. It was promises, wasn't it? Yeah. Maybe news. Hey, it's me. Look, taking the Brackley hot seat. She's going to face plenty of questions. Okay. Good stuff. Well, that was it, just to cover the home screen. So next time we'll have a look at the inbox functionality and how you deal with the workflow. And then we'll think about, when you've just taken over as manager of a team, what are you going to do first? So that'll be in the next video, and I'll see you then.
I fought with lions and wolves, but I've never fought myself before. It's over everything